Welcome back, dear students. In the previous lecture, we are up to the classification of the plants. The plants has been classified on the basis of daily illumination or day length or photo period required to induce the flowering in the plants. So these plants has been classified into three categories: short day plants, long day plants, and day neutral plants. So that we seen in the previous lecture, where the day length less than 12 hours where flowering occurs in the short day plants. In long day plants, day length more than 12 hours has been required for flowering, while in day neutral plants, day length is immaterial. Whether it is less than or more than 12 hours, it does not creates any problem in the day neutral plants. It is immaterial. It can be flower in any condition of dark and light period. These are called as day neutral plants. Okay, one by one we are going to study these plant categories in detail. So first one is the short day plants or SDPs. These plants flower under short day condition. Daylight or a photo period is less than a certain critical period, usually less than 12 hours, required for the induction of flowering. Hence they are known as short day plants. So that we seen where the daylight or a photo period is less than certain critical period, usually less than 12 hours. So daylight less than 12 hours required for the induction of flowering in short day plants. The short day plants will not flower if the continuous dark period or a night period is disturbed even by a short flash of light. These plants require relatively long period of uninterrupted darkness for flowering. If these plants do not get continuous long night period or dark period, they will not flower even after getting the critical short day condition. So short day plants require short period, that is less than 12 hours period, for period of daylight or photo period for the induction of flowering. Okay, so if you count that, if these plants require 8 hours of light period and 16 hours of darkness, so it requires a long night period or dark period. And if this continuous dark period is disturbed even by a shortest flash of light, these plants will not flower. So these plants require relatively long period of uninterrupted darkness for flowering. If these plants do not get the continuous long dark period or night period, they will not flower even after getting the critical short day condition. Okay, so here in this figure we can see this. Here the short day plants will flower under short day condition. Here this is the light period and this one is the dark period. So this is the critical period, where if this critical period is less than 12 hours, these plants can flower. Okay, the light period is short while the dark period is long. So these plants require a short light period and long dark period. If you consider this where if we compare the short light period and a long dark period, if we disturb this long dark period by a shortest flash of light in the middle, this plant will not flower. Okay, they do not show flowering. Similarly, if we provide a long light period and a short dark period to this plant, these plants will also not flower, it remains vegetative. So this is the case of short day plants, where it requires a short light period and a continuous dark period for initiation of flowering. Okay, so it has been characterized by the daylight or a photo period is less than 12 hours required for the induction of flowering in short day plants. Similarly, the continuous dark period is required for the induction of flowering. Okay, so these plants are short day plants. Many plants belong to this category. Daylight in excess of this critical point will keep these plants in the vegetative phase, that we seen in the figure also. The critical daylight or photo period differs from species to species. In short day plants, actually not the daylight period but the length of night period is critical. Hence the short day plants are actually long night plants. So these plants require a short period of light but a very long period of darkness for the induction of flowering. So these plants are actually long night plants. The interruption of the long dark period or night period in the middle is inhibitory for flowering as compared to the interruption of light period at the beginning or at the end. Okay, so if we interrupt this long night period in the middle is inhibitory for flowering as compared to the interruption of night period at the beginning or at the end. Okay, short day plants will not flower during alternate cycles of short dark and short light period. So they also not show flowering in the alternate cycles of short dark and short light period. They require a continuous dark period, continuous uninterrupted dark period or a night period for induction of flowering. Okay, so this is the short day plants. Many short day plants can flower even in continuous darkness if they are given sucrose solution. This clearly indicates that light is not involved in providing stimulus for flowering, but it is just required for photosynthesis, the process which provides the food material to the plant. Suppose if you are not giving any light period to this plant, these plants if we keep in continuous darkness and when we provide it a sucrose solution, these plants can flower. Okay, so this clearly indicates that light is not involved in providing stimulus for flowering, but it is just required for photosynthesis. Okay, thus from the above discussion it can be concluded that length of night or dark period and its continuity initiate flowering in short day plants. Hence these plants are rightly called as long night plants. The list of short day plants has been given here. The monocot plants, for example rice, sugarcane. Dicot plants, for example tomato, soybean, potato, strawberry, xanthium, dahlia, salvia, cosmos, chrysanthemum, euphorbia pulcherrima, aster, bryophyllum, chenopodium, balsam. So this is the long list of the dicot plant. Those comes under short day plants. So short day plants has been characterized by it requires a short light period and a continuous and uninterrupted dark period for the initiation of flowering. Okay, next, so this is the long day plants. These plants flower under long day condition. To the contrary to short day plants, these long day plants flower under long day conditions. They require a photo period of more than a critical length. The critical length varies from 14 to 15 hours for different plants. So it requires a photo period of more than 12 hours. Okay, so that critical length varies from 14 to 15 hours for different plants. So it requires 14 to 15 hours for 14 to 15 hours day length or light period for the induction of flowering. These plants are called as long day plants. The long day plants actually requires a small period of darkness. In long day plants, dark period is inhibitory for flowering. Okay, so unlike the short day plants, these long day plants, dark period is inhibitory for flowering in long day plants. In short day plant, dark period is required for the induction of flowering, but in long day plants, dark period is inhibitory for flowering. The long day plants may flower under short day conditions when a flash of light is given to these plants during night period. So if we disturb the continuous darkness or the night period by a short flash of light, then these plants can flower. This means these long day plants can flower. These plants require short night period. Hence long day plants are rightly described as short night plants. Okay, so these plants require a short night period and a long light period for the induction of flowering. And if we disturb this dark period by a short flash of light, these plants can flower. These long day plants can flower. So these plants require short night or dark period and a long light period. Hence, long day plants are described as short night plants. So here in this figure we can see this is the light period given and this one is the dark period. If we provide a long, means it is more than 12 hours, 14 to 15 hours of light period and a short dark period, then these plants can flower. If we reverse this condition, if we provide a short light period and a long dark period to these plants remain vegetative, it do not flower. And if in the same condition, if we disturb this dark period by a flash of light in the middle, these plants can flower. So the dark period is inhibitory for these plants. They require a long daylight period and a short night period of dark period. These plants are long day plants. So this is the condition opposite to the short day plants. Okay, so these plants are called as long day plants. Application of gibberellic acid can trigger flowering in long day plants even in short day condition. In long day plants, as opposed to the short day plants, continuous light period is important for flowering. They require either very short dark period to induce flowering. Even if dark period is not given at all to them, they can flower. Very long night period inhibits flowering in long day. So night period inhibits the flowering in long day plants. Even if the dark period is not given to this plant, they can flower. So they require a long light period or a photo period for the induction of flowering. So the list of LDPs has been given here. In case of monocots, barley, oats, wheat, maize, these are long day plants. In dicots, cabbage, mustard, radish, spinach, beetroot, lettuce, alfalfa, opium, clover, hibiscus, petunia, these are the dicot plants, comes under long day plants. Okay, so the first two categories we complete here, short day plants, and the second one is the long day plants. Okay, now we are studying the flowering response of short day plants and long day plants to the relative length of light and dark period. A chart has been given. So from this there are, suppose A to G condition. Here it is a short light period and a long dark condition. So under such condition, what is the flowering response of the short day and the long day plants? Okay, so in the first condition A, here the short day plant shows flowering while long day plants remain vegetative because it requires a long light period and short dark period. So long day plants remains vegetative under such condition, while short day plant shows flowering because it requires a short light period and continuous long dark period. Second case B, where it has been given the similar condition but the dark period has been interrupted in the middle by a short flash of light. So in this condition, short day plants remains vegetative and these long day plants also remains vegetative. Next to the third condition, where a dark period has been interrupted by the alternate cycle of the light period. So under such condition, the short day plants remains vegetative while long day plant shows flowering. Then the fourth one, condition D, where short day plants remain vegetative under long light period and a short dark period while long day plant shows flowering. The fifth one, condition E, where the alternate cycles has been given, the light period has been interrupted by a dark period in the middle. Under such condition, short day plants remains vegetative and the long day plants shows flowering. The F, where the short day plants remain vegetative, long day plant shows flowering. And in the last case, where it has been given the equal light period and dark period, these short day plants can show flowering while the long day plants remains vegetative. So this is the flowering response of the short day plants and the long day plants to the relative length of light and dark period. Okay, so this is given just for your understanding regarding the short day plants and the long day plants. Next, so this is the third one category, day neutral plants or DNPs. These plants flower under any conditions of light. They have no any specific requirement of light and dark period for flowering, hence they are known as day neutral plant. They have no any specific requirement of light and dark period. They can flower in any conditions of the light, whether it is a short day condition or long day condition. The daylight is immaterial for these plants. They can flower under any conditions of light and dark period. Okay, so these are called as day neutral plants. So here, whatever the condition, here we say this dark condition has been given for a short period and the long day condition is seen, this plant can show flowering. Here if you make it opposite, this plant can also flower. If you provide a short light period and very long dark period, this plant can flower. So whatever the condition, short day condition, long day condition, this plant can flower. If we interrupt the dark period in the middle by a flash of light, this plant can flower. So these plants have no any effect for light and dark period in the induction of flowering. These are day neutral plants. They can flower very well throughout the year. Flowering in these plants is not affected by day length. This plant can flower in all possible photo periods ranging from a few hours to 24 hours of uninterrupted light exposure. These are also called as photoneutral or indeterminate plants. They can flower in all possible photo periods ranging from a few hours to 24 hours of uninterrupted light exposure. So photo period is immaterial for this plant. So these plants are called as photoneutrals. For example, sunflower, tomato, cucumber, cotton, pea. Okay. Recently, two more groups of plants have been included in the above three main categories. These are long short day plants, LD SDPs, short long day plant, SD LDP. Okay, so these are the two more categories that has been included in the previously said three categories: long short day plants, LD SDP, short long day plants, SD LDP. Okay, now these two categories we are also going to study here. Long short day plants, LSDP. These plants have dual photoperiodic requirement for flowering. These plants do not flower if they are exposed to either long day or short day condition. So these plants have dual photoperiodic requirement. Dual means both photoperiodic requirement, long day and short day. Okay. So these plants do not flower if they are exposed to either long day or short day condition. They require both long day and short day. For flowering, they require both the condition. These plants require long day condition for some time, followed by short day condition to induce flowering in them. Okay. So these require long day condition, then short day condition. Long day condition for some time, followed by short day condition for some time. If the sequence is reverse, what is the sequence? First is the long day condition, then short day condition. If the sequence is reverse, they fail to flower and remain in vegetative conditions. For example, Bryophyllum, Cestrum, Night Jasmine. So these are the long short day plants. Okay. So these long short day plants have dual photoperiodic requirement. They require both the condition. They require long day condition for some time, followed by short day condition in inducing flowering. And if the sequence is reverse, they fail to flower and remain in vegetative condition. Okay. These are LSDP, long short day plants. Next, this is the short long day plants. These plants also require dual photoperiodic exposure to induce flowering. They require short day condition for some time, followed by long day condition. Okay. If the sequence is reverse, they will not flower at all. Hence, these are called as short long day plants. So by name we can say that it require for short condition for some time, then followed by long day condition. Okay, so these are long short day plants. If the sequence is reverse, they will not flower at all. Okay, so these are short long day plants. For example, winter rye, candy tuft. So these are the two more categories. These two categories, that is long short day plants and short long day plants, have dual photoperiodic requirement. they require both the condition. These plants do not flower if they are exposed to either long day condition or short day condition. They require both the condition and they have a specific sequence. For example, long short day plant, they require a long day condition for some time followed by short day condition to induce flowering in them, while short long day plants require short day condition for some time followed by long day condition to induce flowering in them. And if the sequence is reverse, that is particular to the category, these plants remain in vegetative condition. Okay, so these are long short day plants and the next is the short long day plants. So these are the 5 categories of the plant based on the photo period required or day length required for the induction of flowering. Okay, these are short day plants, long day plants, day neutral plants, long short day plants, short long day plants. Okay, so this is the classification of the plant based on the daily illumination or day length or photo period required for the induction of flowering. Okay, do you get it? 4 categories of the plants. Okay, next, so this is the phytochrome theory. Borthwick and Hendricks in 1999 discovered a new pigment in plants, named it as phytochrome. Chrome, it is a colored pigment that has been found in the plant, so the name given is a phytochrome, a new pigment in plant. Phytochrome is a photoreceptor protein which receive light. It is made up of protein, so it is a photoreceptor protein which absorb red and far red light or sometimes blue light and induce flowering in short or long day plants. So phytochromes are the photoreceptor proteins which absorb red and far red light and induce flowering in short day and long day plants. Okay, phytochromes are involved in the reception of light signals during photoperiodic response. The flowering in all plants is controlled by the phytochrome. So Borthwick and Hendrick in 1999 discovered the pigment in the plant and named it as phytochrome. So what are the phytochromes? Phytochromes are the photoreceptor proteins. Photoreceptor, photo means light, receptor they receive the light of a specific wavelength. So phytochromes are the photoreceptor proteins which absorb red and far red light and induce flowering in short day or long day plants. Okay, so these phytochromes are involved in the reception of the light signals during photoperiodic response. So the flowering in all the plants, whatever the short day, long day, long short day, short long day, is controlled by the phytochrome. So there are 2 forms of the phytochrome. These are PR and PFR. R stands for red light, FR stands for far red light. These 2 pigments of these 2 types of pigments are interconvertible, means PR form can be changed into the PFR. Similarly, PFR can be changed into the PR. These are interconvertible. So the light induces its conversion, so it is called as photoconversion. So what happened? The PR form of the phytochrome absorb maximum light in the red region of the spectrum at a wavelength of 660 nanometer. So this PR form of phytochrome absorb maximum, or it shows maximum absorption in red region of spectrum at the wavelength of 660 nanometer and convert it into the PFR. Okay. On the other hand, PFR form has the absorption peak in the far red region at 730 nanometer and it get converted into the PR form. So this is known as photoconversion. This PR can be converted into PFR in the red region of the spectrum at a wavelength of 660 nanometer. Similarly, PFR form has been converted into the PR form in the far red region at a wavelength of 730 nanometer. So this conversion from PR to PFR and PFR to PR, it is called as photoconversion. Why photoconversion? Because this conversion has been induced by the light. Okay, so PR form in red region of a spectrum at a wavelength of 660 nanometer get converted into the PFR form. Similarly, PFR form at 730 nanometer wavelength in far red region get converted into the PR form. So these forms of the phytochrome shows maximum absorption. For example, PR form shows maximum absorption in red region of spectrum. PFR form shows maximum absorption in far red region of a spectrum. Okay, so this is about the phytochrome. There are two forms of the phytochrome, PR and PFR, and these two types of pigments are interconvertible. So here what we see, this PFR form by absorbing red light converts into the PR form. Similarly, PR form get converted into the PFR form in the far red light region. Okay, because this PR form shows maximum absorption in the red light region. Okay, when it get the far red light, it get converted into the PFR. This PFR also in the red light region get converted into the PR. So this is the photo conversion. In addition to this, only the PFR form of the phytochrome shows another type of conversion. PFR spontaneously converts into the PR in the dark. This mode of conversion is very slow and takes a few hours, and it is depend on the temperature. Therefore, it is called thermal conversion. So another one conversion that has been shown by only PFR form. So in the dark, this PFR spontaneously get converted into the PR. This mode of conversion is very slow, takes few hours and dependent on temperature. So it is called as thermal conversion. It is only the PFR form of phytochrome which is physiologically active. The PR is the inactive form. So of the two forms of the phytochrome, the PFR form is physiologically active while PR is the inactive form. In most plant, phytochrome PR absorbing red light promotes flowering, but its subsequent exposure to far red light prevents flowering. So this is the phytochrome theory that has been proposed by Borthwick and Hendrick in 1999. This theory has been based on a new pigment that has been discovered by them in plants, named it as phytochrome. These are the photoreceptor proteins which absorb red and far red light and induce flowering in short day or long day plants. There are two forms of the phytochrome. These are PR and PFR. The PR form of phytochrome absorb maximum light in the red region of the spectrum at a wavelength of 660 nanometer. On the other hand, PFR form has the absorption peak in the far red region at 730 nanometer. So this PFR, these are interconvertible. This is called as photo conversion. In addition to this, only the PFR form shows another type of conversion that we called as thermal conversion. This PFR form spontaneously converts into PR in the dark, and this mode of conversion, it is temperature dependent, it is slow process, so it is known as thermal conversion. Okay, this PFR form is physiologically active form while PR is the inactive form. The phytochrome PR absorbing red light promotes flowering, but when this PR is subsequently exposed to the far red light, prevents flowering. Okay, so this is about phytochrome theory. Now the next point, phytochromes in induction and inhibition of flowering. So that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you. Stay home.